You're now tuned in to The Investor Show, where we teach simple wealth creation for the common investors. With investment advisor, award-winning author, international speaker, and founder of Royal Financial Investment Group, Prince Dykes.
And once again, guys, this is The Investor Show as always. This is your host, Prince Dykes, coming to you guys live all the way from Denver, Colorado. I know you guys used to be saying Honolulu, Hawaii, but today I'm in Denver, Colorado. And as always, guys, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, comment, share button, or wherever you may get this from around the globe. One thing I want to say is I appreciate everybody that came out to the Children's FinTech Expo that was December 3rd at Jones County High School. I appreciate everybody that came out and supported. It was a great, great event. And I was very happy to be a part of that and all the other great stuff. But as always, guys, I don't have a lot of time, and I definitely know you guys don't have a lot of time, so we're going to jump straight into it.
What up, what up? It's your boy Vigo Sachi. This is The Investor Show, and you're checking in with the investor genius, Prince Dykes. Let's get it.
So today, as you guys can see in the description box of the title, or I may just change the title depending on how the conversation may go, I have a live call-in, very, very special guest. By those by the name of Miss Michelle from the East Coast. She wants to remain anonymous, which is perfectly fine. It's really about getting the information out there that she has. She wrote me and she said, "Hey, I have, I don't know anything about this investing thing, and I want to know something more about it. I want to get involved with it, all this other great stuff." I said, "Hey, I want you to come on the show, share your story, because I know a lot of people out there have the same concern, the same question as well, and I'd be happy to sit down and go through some things with you." So, without further ado, let's introduce our guest, Miss Michelle. How are you today?
I'm good, Prince. How are you?
I'm doing outstanding. So, for everybody that's out there, I know a lot of people write me, a lot of people email. I do get a chance to read just about everybody or a good bit of my emails. So I don't get a chance to see everybody's thing. And sometimes I don't have a chance to respond back to every individual person. But I try to get around to it as much as possible. So what made you call in today?
I have wanted for a while to learn how to invest. And I know that now it's become popular for a lot of people to invest on their own versus paying someone else to be in control of their money, investing it for them. And I do have the 401k, but I don't have the education or the knowledge to know what they're doing with it or to request how to invest for me. So I really just want to learn how to do it so that I'll be able to depend on myself for retirement and not anyone else.
Okay, so that's a great thing that you said. Now, the first thing I always tell people when they're brand into investing is first you have to ask yourself, the first question is people who listen to the show all the time always say, hey, what is your risk level? Are you a high risk person? Are you a moderate risk person? Are you a conservative person? Right? Then once you know your risk level, you got to ask yourself, are you short term or long term? Usually, historically in the financial industry, anything over a year is considered long term. But sometimes people say, hey, I'm looking 20, 30 years, 40 years out down the line, or maybe I'm looking for my kids or something like that. So you have to decide, hey, are you high risk, low risk, or medium risk? And you have to decide, are you short term or long term? Because it's like a shoe. It doesn't fit everybody. For someone who may be young and may be high risk, they want to jump on a new high thing, maybe they want to look into cryptocurrency. But someone who's looking for 20 years down the line that's moderate, maybe they may not want to look into maybe a cryptocurrency. So let's start off with that. Ask yourself, how would you consider yourself? Would you be a high risk person, moderate risk person, or a conservative person?
If it's a certain amount that I'm going to be investing every month, I think that's fine. I don't care what is done with it as long as something is done with it. So I don't know if that makes me low, moderate, or high. You would have to tell me because, like I said, I am so ignorant in this area that it's not funny.
Okay. Well, let me break it down a little bit more. A high risk person, let's say, and it's going to be a high risk or quote unquote aggressive. It's someone who's considered, hey, I want to make as much money as possible because mostly they go by the age. If you're young, if you're in your 20s or your 30s, and you're not looking to touch your money in your 60s, they say, hey, you should have an aggressive portfolio. Now, if you're willing to invest your money into something that could possibly be gone within a year or two, that you could, hey, I invested my money into something that, hey, it's gone now, or I don't care if I lose, almost like a lottery ticket, pretty much, right? That would be your high risk side of your portfolio. I think it's a room for that for everyone, but I think only less than 10%, should be there. Because you shouldn't be throwing your money away into something that could be losing. Just think about it. How would you feel if you invested your money every single month for 5 years? Let's say you lost half your investment, and come to turn around and look and say, well, I could have brought something that I knew, like Amazon or Google or Walmart or the index or something like that. Now, a moderate person is someone who wants to absorb some risk, because there's no such thing as investing without no risk. I'm a moderate person. I want to absorb some risk, but I don't want to lose everything, right? So let's put it this way. A high risk person would invest into a startup, something that just started today, right? Versus a moderate person who invests into a blue chip stock. A blue chip is something like that has started, say something like a Walmart that has a history that's been around for a while, or something like that. Those are the areas that they probably look into. Now, a conservative person will look into something like a bond. They don't want to lose any of their capital, right? So if I was to look at it those three ways, does that help you out a little bit more with high risk, moderate risk?
It does. I definitely know I'm not a low risk person.
Okay.
Now, between the high and moderate, it kind of goes back to what I said before. If I'm allotting a certain amount of money to go into investing, I don't. In my mind, I expect that I'm probably going to lose that right away because I don't know how to invest, and I'm kind of okay with it because I would be. Honestly, I'd probably throw $120 away every month anyway. But if I could go in, can you start out as a high risk and then move to moderate?
Yes. You can have a blend inside of your portfolio to say, hey, 50% is going to be high risk, 25% is going to be low risk, such and such like that, which is called diversification. You're diversifying your portfolio. You're not throwing all of your money into the new hot technology company that's coming out, right? Because the new hot technology company could be what I was saying was that, hey, it's diversifying your portfolio. You don't want all of your money into a high risk company. Then again, you don't want all your money stocked into a CD or a savings account. You got to diversify your portfolio, right? So now, one of the ways I look at something that would be considered that will fall into a higher risk or high growth. If you're saying, hey, I'm throwing away this money anyway, I might as well put my money into something that can grow. You sound like you're a moderate high person, right? Because you're like, I'm willing to invest money and lose it, but on the same time, if I lost it, I'm expecting to lose it, but I want it to grow, right? So this is the whole purpose is, I don't know how old you are, right? Which is fine. Myself, I'm 33, right? And I remember when I was in high school, I always used this scenario. When I went to a vending machine with $1, I used to be able to get like something to drink, some cookies. I could pretty much get a snack with $1. But today, if you walk to a vending machine with $1, you pretty much get laughed at, right? So the whole thing is going into the notion of inflation. The price of goods and services are going up every year. Right now, inflation moves about 2%. Hey, Prince, so why is this important? This tells you that in order to keep up with inflation, not inflation, but in order for your investment to even be worth anything, it needs to at least garnish between 2 to 3% a year. Because the price of everything is going up. Like you probably remember 10, 20 years ago, $10,000, you can do way more with it then than you can now.
Right.
Because just the price of everything just going up. So your investment needs to return between 2 to 3%. Now, if I ask you this question, when you earn your money, how do you earn the money? Where is it going that it's at least earning 2 to 3% a year?
Was right now currently, when you earn your money, where does it currently go that it's at least earning 2 to 3%?
Um, well, honestly, like I said, I have my 401k.
Okay.
I don't even check it because I don't know how to make changes or what to make changes to with it. Um, so I know that it's earning. I'm sure that's fluctuating, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't know that it earns 2-3%. I just know that
Okay.
it's matched. What I put in it is matched 5%.
Nice. That's very good with a matching program. Now, okay, so she's saying, hey, I put my money somewhere. It's, the only place I have is my 401k, but I'm not 100% sure what it does, which is fine, right? So now
Mm-hmm.
my question is to say, hey, let's take focus into the 401k. Let's figure out what it is. What's that all about? Now you have two forms. You have traditional and you have Roth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing you probably don't know which one you have. Do you know which one you have?
Traditional.
Okay, so she has traditional. So traditional means that you're not paying the taxes on it now, right? But once you retire, you go to pull back off of the money, then it's going to charge you taxes later, right?
Okay.
Me
Mm-hmm.
personally, I like the Roth. I don't know if your 401k offers the Roth, but if it did,
It does.
I would prefer the Roth. Okay. This is why. Now I would just explain the two between you and you can make the decision that you want to make. So let's say, for example, you get paid $10,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
What a traditional does is, let's say if you say, hey, I'd like to take 10% of my income and to put it into my traditional Roth IRA. Not traditional, but to my traditional 401k. So what it does is it says, boom, you got $10,000. We're going to take out 10%, which is $1,000. We're going to take
Mm-hmm.
out $1,000. We're going to put it into your 401k. Now you're going to have $9,000 left, right? Out
Mm-hmm.
of that $9,000 left, then that's when it's taxed, right?
Okay.
Now with a Roth, how it happens is, let's say you earn $10,000. It is taxed first. Let's say out of your $10,000, you're taxed $1,000. You're left over with 9,000. Then the
Mm-hmm.
10% kicks in and puts, $900 into your 401k. So
Okay.
one is with pre-tax dollars, one is with after-tax dollars. So
Okay.
the thing about it is, you can look into your 401. This is me personally, my current situation. I expect myself to be in a higher earning tax bracket later on in life, right? And it's just me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go ahead and pay my taxes now. That's just my personal take. But it's different for
Okay.
everybody, depending on their age, depending on they think they'll be earning more taxes, and what they'll be earning more money in the future. We don't know what tax rates will be in the future, whatever the case may be. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, with your 401k, you can potentially borrow from it and start a business, whatever the case may be. And when I log into my 401k, I would rather look at the money and say, hey, that's what I have. That's me personally, right?
Mm-hmm.
However it fits you, so now you know the difference. If you want to switch over to a Roth, that's something you have to speak to your company about. You want to stay with traditional, that's fine as well. But now you kind of got an idea. Does that make a sense? Make sense to you?
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Okay. So pre-tax dollars versus after-tax dollars. The cool part about it is people say, hey, you can get these pre-tax dollars. You got $1,000 in your account. You can earn more money throughout your time. But when you turn 59 and a half, you go to withdraw your money. Uncle Sam's going to say, congratulations, Michelle. But hey, I have to get my piece too. Right?
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's just something to think about which one you want to jump into. Now,
Right.
now that we understand between traditional and the Roth. Now, inside of most companies, they have to have, by federal law, most of the time, three options. Ironically, it's what we discussed in the future. In the past. You have to have an aggressive fund, a moderate fund, and a conservative fund.
Okay.
Me personally, when you look at your 401k, how close are you to retiring or actually thinking about using it?
Well, I'm not going to use it, but and then retirement, whew, is nowhere close. I'm 42, but I'll be working
Okay.
for a while.
All right. For me, my personal opinion, right? This is. I would go with a broad-based index, a C fund, something that tracks the S&P 500. I'm almost certain they have it, right?
Mhm.
For uh, some people, they call it the common stocks or something like that. I would just get that and forget about it. What that is the top 500 companies in America, right? See,
Mhm.
I really can't say 100% because I don't know all the options you have. Because I'm pretty sure inside your 401k you have different options. If you know them, that'd be great. But if you don't know them, that's fine. If you do find them and say, "Hey, Prince, I want you to take a look. These are the options that I have," I'll be
Okay.
more than willing to do that. Say, "Hey, these are options that I have. You know, which option would you take?" Then I will give you my opinion, right?
Okay.
And this is my way, right? I look at it and say, get a common stock, get the S&P 500, right? The greatest investors in the world will always tell you
Mhm.
that 92% of investors will not beat the S&P 500 on a consistent basis. That's 92, not 92% of the people that you see on social media who has a E-Trade account. I'm talking about hedge fund, the top ones in the world, right? They
Mhm.
usually can't beat the S&P 500 on a consistent basis. So with me, what I would do personally, I would get a C fund or a common stock fund, something that tracks the S&P 500, and forget about it. What is the S&P 500? If you tune into the news, you probably hear the Dow Jones is up by, hits a new record high of 25,000, and the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. Those are the top three indexes in that we track here in America, right?
Okay.
And what
Right.
these indexes are, these are gauges on the market. The Dow Jones was started by Charles Dow, Edward Jones. I think it was 1840 something like that, in 1800 somewhere. And they picked 30 stocks in order to gauge the market. Because you got all these stocks out there, but how can you gauge how the whole market is doing? So they picked 30 stocks, that are 30 American stocks, to gauge how the U.S. market was doing. That's the way they gauge it.
Mhm.
The S&P 500, it tracks the top 500 companies in America. Maybe 10 or 20 years ago, we probably would have had, 10 or 20 years ago, we probably would have had Blockbuster in there. But fast forward to 2017, it's probably Netflix, right?
Right.
So what it does is it tracks the S&P is Standard and Poor. They're just guys who write about the market, and this is their way of gauging the market. It is the benchmark of the financial industry. When you go and you look at your 401k, when you get your statements, it's always going to compare it to the S&P 500 because
Okay.
that is the benchmark of finance. Because it says, hey, if you can't beat the index, you might as well invest in it. So that's the broad based index, and the reason why the S&P 500 is the benchmark is because it gauges 500 companies. The Dow Jones only gauges 30 companies. You know what I mean? And the
Mhm.
Nasdaq only gauges 100 companies. So the S&P 500 gives you a better picture of what's going on. You coming in as a novice investor, trying to go pick a particular stock, you may not. Well, my coworker said this. My coworker said get some Litecoin. I don't really know about it, so I'm gonna grab some of this and just
Right.
throw my money into it. And I heard some people say, if this new company is going to be the hot thing, I might as well throw my money into it, right? Because,
Mhm.
Michelle, these last 42 years, you have been investing. Every day, you have been investing. Your phone
Right.
service, you may have AT&T, you may have Verizon, you may be going to Walmart every day. You may be, all these particular companies, these companies, I don't know if you probably pay attention to the market, but it's at an all-time high. All-time high.
Mhm.
The S&P
It's funny
500.
you say that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Go ahead.
funny you say that about the Litecoin because that conversation actually did happen at work, and it
Exactly.
hasn't even been 2 weeks.
Exactly right. So, hey, your coworkers, hey man, and the reason why those things become popular is because they have been very successful. You're talking about Bitcoin. that's went on a rampage this year that's been up 1,000%, right? Over
Mhm.
1,000%. Anytime something does something like that, everybody's going to be talking about it. But
Right.
guess what? The S&P
It has to
500
come
is
down.
up over the S&P 500 is up over 20% this year, right?
Mhm.
So for the market, everything is pretty much up. It's kind of hard to miss right now because it's very what they call a bullish market. Bullish means the bull means it's going up. Bear is when it's going down. So yeah, so guess what, right? You kind of like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I got my 401k. Somebody said, hey man, get some Litecoin. You're like, I don't know what that is, but okay. Man, I know some people, and you may make some money. You may not make some money. You don't really know. But the thing is, why not invest into things you know about,
Right.
right? So the thing about it is, what if you say, hey, I want to do this on my own? One of the ways you can do it on your own, yes, it is very trendy to do it on your own, right? You want to do it on your own, you start easy with a TD Ameritrade account or a Scottrade account or E-Trade account. They're nothing but online brokers. You go in, and today you can purchase the index. I think it's right now, I want to say around for like $240, $250 a piece now. But last year it was just $180. But what you can do is you can buy it like it's a bill every single day. You can get an ETF that tracks the S&P 500. So that's one way. Buffett, Warren Buffett. I don't know if you've ever heard of Warren Buffett or whatnot. One of the greatest
Yes.
investors of our time. And he always preaches. He always says, "Hey, you're a new investor. Just get the index and forget about it. Buy it over and over. Have your dividends reinvested." Now that's more of a conservative form of investing, right? It's not a savings account or nothing like that. That's a conservative form of investing. Once you have the index, I believe personally everybody should have the index with inside of their portfolio. Once you have the index, now you can venture off and to get into maybe you say, hey, you know what? I want to be on the high end, the high risk end. Now you can look into for the growth. If you're looking for growth, you can get into things like technology companies, something like a Google, something like an Amazon, something like an Apple, something like a
Mhm.
Microsoft, right? These are good blue chip companies that you know that are going to go, that have a good history, that's been around for a while, that's been blazing, of course, these last years. But technology companies are considered to be a higher risk, right?
Mhm.
Second, below that, you have a moderate, which you have the index, right? Below that, you can go into bonds, right? But if you're not really been on the conservative side of the house, bonds are not yielding. They're not yielding that much right now. They're not earning particularly that much, but they do have a place in certain portfolios. But if I was a new person, I was a novel investor, and you was looking to start your own thing instead of going out there, I've been there, I've done it. I've created an account. I've seen articles come down on social media, in my email from friends and colleagues. Somebody said, hey man, I made a bunch of money off of this penny stock. I made a bunch of money, some stuff that I don't even know nothing about. I go out there and grab it. Sometimes I make some money. Sometimes I was losing some money and all this other stuff. But every day I was looking over things that I actually knew about. You know,
Mhm.
for prime example, I don't even know how much is up in my son's portfolio. McDonald's this year, I don't even know. I think it's probably up. It's in a double digit somewhere, 14, 15% or whatever. And the only reason why I brought McDonald's because every time he was in the car, every time he passed by McDonald's, Daddy McDonald's, Daddy McDonald's, Daddy, I want McDonald's, Daddy, I want burgers and fries. I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna be pulling this car and getting you all these burgers and fries, I'm just gonna get you the company, right?
Right.
And over the years, it's done exceptionally well for me. First time I saw McDonald's, it was $40. Now today it's like 120, 130 bucks, right? Which has done it very exceptionally well for me. What the future of McDonald's may be, I don't know. But that's me getting into things that I know. Versus I had a portfolio, I will open it up, I couldn't even tell you what I had. Didn't even understand
Yeah.
it. I didn't even understand it. Like, man, I think this is some Litecoin. Then I got some Bitcoin. Then I got some Ethereum. Then I have some this, and this, and this. Which I think is a place for that. You want to get on the high risk lottery ticket aspect? Okay, I do a little bit in Litecoin. Then I want some high risk growth companies. You get into things like Apple. Like every day, you probably go to work or you deal with somebody that deals with a Microsoft product, right? So you can get
Mhm.
into Microsoft, you can get into Apple, you can every day you on Google, every day you on Facebook. Every
Mhm.
day you're on Facebook, and I have Facebook, right? And I didn't get Facebook. I didn't tear up the earnings report. But the thing I liked about Facebook, this is how I create companies. I like the way they evolve. So, prime
Mhm.
example, look at Blockbuster, look at Coca Cola. When I was introducing to Coca Cola, all I knew about Coca Cola was they had the Coke, they had the Sprite. That was the two companies that the two brands that I knew. But as you notice, people kind of gotten away from soda, and people got into sports drinks when Gatorade came out from Pepsi. What did Coca Cola do? They created Powerade. When people started drinking bottled water, they created Dasani. When people got into vitamin water, they went out and brought vitamin water. So they constantly evolving with times. And when I see that and they're branding and they're evolving with time, that's what I like about a company. That's what I like about Facebook. When I very first came to Facebook, it used to just be for college kids and you wrote a paragraph. But look how it has evolved. Now you can do live videos. Now you can put up videos. Now you can put up articles. You can do, when Instagram came out, it brought it. When WhatsApp came out, it brought it. When Snapchat came out, it tried to buy Snapchat, but Snapchat didn't want to sell, so it incorporated Snapchat into Facebook. So that tells me that this company is evolving. And next thing you
Right.
know, Facebook is going to be shooting its own shows. So I said, hey, if I'm on this thing every day, if I'm watching it every day, it only makes sense for me to go here and spend 100 and something. It was like $110 back when I brought it. It only makes sense for me but that's something you know. That's something you use every single day, right?
Right.
So, and that would be in a growth company. So, at the top, lottery tickets. Your friend tell you about this new penny stock. Boom, you get it. Right? That's at the very top. Litecoin,
Mhm.
it has a section there. The next section I will go to high risk companies, something like a technology company, a Google, a Amazon, a Facebook, a Apple, maybe a Microsoft, something like that. Good
Mhm.
technology companies that are growth, that are projected to grow, but they're not as risky because look how much history Microsoft has.
Right.
The likelihood of Apple going away tomorrow, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, anything can happen. But the likelihood of that happening is just due to their capitalization. If the money in the company, I would feel comfortable with that. That would be number two. Number three, if I move into my moderate section, I would go with the index, S&P 500. I got the top 500 companies in America, right? The likely,
Mhm.
so they say if Facebook went away today and a new thing came along called My Face, guess what?
Mhm.
Facebook is no longer in the S&P 500. My Face is, right? So that would be my conservative end. Especially you're saying, hey, I'm at 42. I'm not looking at touching this for a while. I wouldn't have anything in the conservative. The conservative piece, people use that. Now let's fast forward to 20 years from now. You're 62, 63. You're like, hey, I'm looking towards retirement. My portfolio is doing very well. But what if the stock market crashes tomorrow? I don't want to be involved in that mess. But I don't want to put
Right.
my money in I don't want to put my money in a savings account. I don't want to have all my money in stocks. So then you move your money into bonds. You know, bonds, and that's when you move your money into conservative things. Because in your 401k, they may have life cycles, what they call the L funds. The life cycles, what it does is you may be, I don't know if it may sound familiar, but you put a target year. You say, hey, I plan on retiring in 2040, 2050, or 2060, whatever the case may be. And all it
Mhm.
does is, while you're young, it's going to be very aggressive. It's going to put you into mostly stocks. And as you get older and get closer to retirement, it's slowly going to put you into bonds.
Mhm.
That's all it's really going to do. So bonds and being conservative is for people who have made their money, right? I
Mhm.
have $2.5 million. I'm getting ready to retire in a couple of years. I'm not trying to lose it all. I'm fine where I'm at. That's when people look into bonds.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Grade A bonds. Bonds, CDs, savings accounts, CDs, bonds, fixed income. That's when they look into those type of things. Municipal bonds and government bonds, stuff like that. Things that are very conservative where they're not going to lose their money. So, with that being said, now you got a little blend. That's diversifying. You diversifying your portfolio. Now, um, now some people like to go international. My field with international is if I'm investing to the top 500 companies in America, they're already global. You know what I
Right.
mean? I mean, come on, you're talking about companies like Facebook, and come on, you got companies that are nowhere near the top 500 that are already global, right? So I think so. I'm not very big with going international, but it's a piece there for it. Some people like to go to common stocks, then they like to go to small cap stocks, then they like to go to international. But I don't want to get too far from that to confuse you too much. But I wanted to, but that's the way
I
I was
appreciate
like.
that.
Yeah, I don't want to go into you like, I got the comments. What is this international? What is small? But if you was going to build your own portfolio, I would say, as a novel investor, most novel investors, yeah, they're going to make some money on some stuff. I've been there. I've done it. They're going to make. Some people going to get lucky. You got to be wary of that. For prime example, one thing, I was at Warren Buffett's meeting a couple months ago, and he said it. He said, "Hey, we passed on Amazon, right? We chose Walmart over Amazon. We didn't believe Jeff was going to be able to become what he became. Jeff is the CEO of Amazon, right? We didn't believe he was going to do it. But hey, I missed it. I got Walmart instead. So, and then I put my money into a company called Dexter Shoes, one I never heard of. He brought Dexter Shoes and he lost $450 million, right?
Wow.
So now $450 million to him is nothing. But I was like, dang, but this is. Excuse me, that made me cough. But but this is the greatest investor of all time saying, "Hey, I missed this." You know what I mean? I can't get it up. So I'm like, if this guy's 87, been there, the best in the world, the best that ever done it. If he's saying he can miss it, why would I try to catch every single hot new thing that comes along?
Right.
So that's one of the things you got to think, because you're going to have a lot of distractions. Every day it's going to be, hey, boom, it's this new thing. Boom, it's this new thing. Boom, it's this new thing. But usually, historically, the S&P 500 has returned about 10% a year. That's the S&P 500. Now, granted, my Berkshire stock, which is Warren Buffett company, it's up. It's beating the S&P 500. My General Motors stock, I have individual companies in my portfolio that are beating the S&P 500 this year. But how many people can go out here and, pick, hey, I'm brand new to this, let me go pick this stock, I would start off with the S&P 500 ETF called VOO if I was building my own portfolio, and then I would build upon that. Especially if I wasn't looking at doing that for 20, 30 years, I would stay away from bonds right now, but I would be bullish. I'll be bullish on the market. It doesn't matter. If the stock market crashes tomorrow, you invest anyway. It's a concept called dollar cost averaging. But what you do is you say, hey, I got $120, $130, $200. What you do is you buy the index every single month. It's like a bill. Every single month. Every single month. Every single month.
So,
you just don't even worry about it. Go ahead.
So you say I buy it every single month. Does that mean that I have to actively go in and put money into it, or can I set up to put money into it every month?
You can set up to, let's say if you want to start a TD Ameritrade account, you can set up to have your money go into your TD Ameritrade account every month, right?
Okay.
Because if you start a TD Ameritrade account, it's just like starting a regular bank account. Now you have to fund it. Now you can set up, which I have step-by-step videos on my YouTube channel that tells you how to do monthly contributions. Hey, every month I want to put in $50 or $120. Now, when it goes into your account, it's just sitting in cash. You're going to have to go in and purchase. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
You're going to have to go in and purchase and say, hey, you know what, this month, boom, this is what I want to buy. At least to the best of my knowledge right now, I don't know about it automatically buying stocks for you, but I'll look into that.
Okay.
But I know you can set up with money go into your account, but you may have to go and purchase every single month and pay it like it's a bill. I would start off with the S&P 500 ETF, VOO, VOOO. I would start with that, and then I would slowly graduate into, you know what, I feel a little more comfortable with this. I feel a little more comfortable with this company. I kind of want to move in some things into high risk, high growth. Maybe I may want to go into a Apple, or maybe I want to go into this, or maybe, whatever the case may be. Now, I'm not going to get all into reading financial statements and PE ratios and this and this and this, but this is the thing about it too, Michelle. The S&P 500 also pays dividends.
Okay.
That means that every quarter it's going to cut you a check.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Verizon cuts a check every quarter.
And
Microsoft cuts a check every quarter. Now, with this check, it can go straight into your cash, or you can have it reinvested.
okay.
And when you reinvest it, you have to enroll it into a program called DRIP, which is Dividend. It's an acronym, Dividend Reinvestment Plan. And that's very easy to do. I have a step-by-step video on that too that show you to say, hey, like today, right now, how much you think Ford stock is?
Ford, Ford?
Yes.
I have no idea. None whatsoever.
You on Google right now?
I can.
So I want you to Google F stock. F is the symbol.
F stock?
Yes. F is the symbol. And
okay.
that's a stock symbol. So now, do you see the price?
Hold on. S is in Sierra, but you want me to use the dollar sign.
F as in Foxtrot.
Okay. F stock.
Yeah, F stock. That's it. So, do you see the price come up?
I see. Yeah, 12.58.
That's how much it costs today. Now you go down. Now, when you're looking at that, go all the way down. You see below at the bottom where it says open, high, low, market cap. Okay. You see the one that says div yield?
Hold on, let me scroll down.
Or it should be in that same little box. That same little box where you saw the stock price at the bottom of it. Right,
I do.
Right
I see it. It's on the right side.
Yield? What is div yield?
4.77%.
That's how much it pays annually to stockholders.
Okay.
So that's for prime example. It costs $12.58. I have Ford stock, right? I brought Ford stock up. It was only $12, and I want to say it's up probably about 10% from when I purchased it. 10, 12, something like that percent. It's done pretty well for me so far this year, or whatnot. But also, when you can look at it, let's type in, if you don't mind me asking, who's your phone provider? You use Verizon or T-Mobile, anything like that?
I use Sprint. Well, I use Sprint. I also have Verizon for work, but personally, I use Sprint.
So let's do another one. Since you work with it every day, type in BZ, Victor Zulu, stock.
Okay.
So what is the dividend yield on that one?
It is 4.48.
All right, so that's how much that stock pays the shareholders every single year. All right? Now we're going to go through a little, since we're here. You see the open, where it says open? It says 52.57. That is when that stock opened up that particular day. That's what it opened at. When the bell rung, it opened at 52.57. Right below that says high, 52.87. That's telling you this was the highest it hit that day. Then the low is the exact opposite. This was the lowest it hit that day. Market capitalization, this is how much, if you added up all the stocks that are out there, this is how much that is out there on the market. 2.1.86 billion, right? That's considered a large capitalization. Probably when you go into your portfolio at work or 401k, it'll probably tell you, large capitalization, small capitalization, mid cap. They're talking about that number there, right? Then you got the PE ratio. That's the price to earnings ratio, where you look at the price of the stock compared to the earnings of the stock. That's pretty much telling you, that's the way people use to tell if a stock is overvalued, right? The dividend yield, that's telling you how much it pays in dividend currently. Now, dividends are not guaranteed forever, but they vote on it like every quarter or something like that. But we're talking about, hey, when I asked you that question earlier, hey, what do you have that's earning 2 to 3%?
Right.
People who own the Verizon stock, you're working with it every day, probably work with it for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. This is what the earnings is. So that's a way you can look at But right now, the thing I want to keep in mind: companies that have a large dividend yield, 4, 5%, those are pretty large. Companies that pay large dividends, they usually don't. The price don't move that fast high because I mean right now it's $52. They don't really move that high because they're paying so much money to shareholders. It's my belief, but they usually don't move that high. But I just wanted to open your mind up to it, so when now you can kind of start doing your own research and stuff like that. And that would be the way I look at it. So you got any questions? Was that helpful to you at all?
Yes, it was helpful. It's still, until I actually do something,
Do it.
it's still going to be overwhelming. And I'm sure that's the same for anybody sitting in my seat. But I am looking forward to
Well, let's take
researching, learning more, and say again.
Take it with baby steps. First thing you do, maybe you can pick TD Ameritrade, you can pick E-Trade, SkyTrade, whichever one you feel comfortable with. Open up an account. It's free, right? Boom, you open up your account, and you say, hey, I got $200. Let me just put $200 into this account. Now you got $200 into the account because now you're taking your knowledge and you're making it practical. I don't know if you have kids or not, but if you have kids, you can open up an account with them for them on TD Ameritrade. You can what's a quote unquote a custodian account. You can open up a custodian account for them, or you can open up a account for yourself. Boom, now you have it. Before you even get to that point, and then once you have it, you put money in it. You got money in it. You say, hey, I want to buy Facebook. You go in, you type in stock symbol, which is FB. You type it, you hit the buy button. Like I got tutorials telling you how to buy stock, how to sell them. Boom, you buy it, and that's your first one. Now, this is another way I always tell people. You can start with a virtual fake account first. That's another way.
So
yes, go ahead.
The virtual fake account is so that you can just learn, or
Yep, you can learn. You don't even have to go start with your own money. You can start with a virtual account, which I will inbox you once I get done. Open up one, it's free. And you can fake like you buying Facebook. You can fake like you buying Microsoft. You can put how much money you want in the account, not your money, but you can say, hey, I want to start with $50,000. Boom, and then trade against the real market. You can kind of get your feet wet that way.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, so I see the link. So you go virtual first. You can play around with it. Oh, bam, I got my virtual account. I did this with it. I brought this. I sold this. I did this. You can kind of get your feet wet. Then when you're ready, you can go to start your own account. So
that's great because I can do that with my daughter too. We can learn together.
Exactly. That was something I wish I had done when I was stupid. But but that's how you learn. But that's how you become better because you do stupid things. You become a student and you learn. You say, okay, you know what? I shouldn't have done that. But this is a different way. But I'll at least send you 2 virtual accounts where you can at least start up. All you need is probably like an email address and a password to set up an account. No banking information. You be like, I want to start with $50,000 and I want to go. If you're just trying to buy stocks, you can make it fun with your kids. Boom, I brought this. I even know stock option trading games that are out there. You can start it, play with it. You can say, hey, I brought some Microsoft, some Facebook, and I'm going to just sit back and watch it, see what it does, and forget about it. So, but the thing
what do you do?
Learned, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay. But one of the things I would say is that one of the things I learned about it is investing consistently over time is the key. Because some people, they buy it one time, hey, I'm going to put $1,000 in Verizon, and that's it. They sit back and watch it like watching paint dry. But if you do it over and over and over and over the index, you'll be surprised how far it will get you. So, but yeah, I'll send you the 2 links to those where you can start virtually. You can go that way. But go ahead. I didn't mean to. I know you had something you wanted to say.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about. How do you learn, or how do you decide when to buy and sell?
Okay, this is one thing I learned, right? It depends. It's one of those things where it depends on what my objective is. If my objective is just consistently to invest over a long period of time, I will just, I'll watch a company and I'll be like, wow, I really want to get into this, but I will wait till a stock has a bad day. But think about it. When you go to I'm assuming you shop, you go to the store, you go to the grocery store. When
Mm-hmm.
do people? When do you load up on stuff in the grocery store? Probably when you see it on sale. The
Right.
clearance rack, or we're getting rid of this. You already know the product. Let's say, for example, a box of cinnamon toast crunch. You know the product. You love the product. You know what it is. You've been into the store so many times. You watched it. You know the price of this cereal is about $5, right? So what you
Mm-hmm.
do is, if you walk into the store one day and you see it going for $2, you load up on it. You know what I
Right.
mean? But it's vice versa. If you walk into the store one day, you saw that box of cereal for $10, you're probably going to walk right by it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like with investing. You sit back, I watch the stock, I learn it. You can like go download apps, right? Bloomberg,
Mm-hmm.
and build what they call a watch list. You can say, you know what, I want to watch Facebook, Ford, Amazon, Google, whatever. And every day you can go in and just check out the prices. So by you looking at those prices, you kind of learn what's normal, right? So
Mm-hmm.
once I see what's normal, I know I want to buy that stock. I try to wait on a down day or a downturn. And right now, when I'm investing, I'm not a day trader. Day traders are people like Oliver Velez who go in every single day and trade stocks. They buy and sell for profit, right? But if that's not my objective, I'm not a day trader. I'm someone who's looking for the long term. I look at a company, I will say, okay, I'll wait till bad news come out. I'll wait till when they say the stock has fell off and it's not doing good, and I believe in that company, that's when I go buy it.
Okay.
Prime example, J.C. Penney. I'm not 100% believer in J.C. Penney because I feel like retail stores are a dying breed. But if I was
They
a big
are.
believer in J.C. Penney and Macy's like that, this would be the time to go grab them, right? Not when they're doing
Mm-hmm.
well, not when they turn into Bitcoin and Litecoin, when they're doing exceptionally well. That's when everybody wants to get it. But taking that same mentality that when you go shopping, that's why women are better investors than guys. Because women shop. Guys don't shop. We just go buy what we want, overpay for it, or whatever the case may be.
This is going to
But
be
women,
bad because I hate to shop.
you hate this.
I hate it.
Well, I thought that was going to be a good trick. But it was, but if you don't want to do that, just say, forget the timing. I'm not trying to time it. I'm just going to buy it. Every day I get paid, I'm going to invest $200. And when
Now,
that day
actually,
comes,
I'd like to do both. I'd like to do both. I mean, I'd like to have that long term kind of guarantee, but I like to be able to learn enough so that I can be risky. Watch and do exactly what you said. Watch and then buy. And if I need to sell, and know when to sell.
I would say I would buy on a consistent basis. I would start off with buying over and over.
Mm.
Buy, buy, buy. Then as time goes, as you become more used to it, now you can say, hey, you know what I want to do? I want to get into, um, I've been watching Microsoft for a while. It does this. I know when to buy it. Then you can get into that. Now, if you want to become a full-fledged day trader, then I got to refer you to my friend Oliver Les. But he trades, the problem with people day trading, you need a lot of money to properly do
Mm.
it, right?
Okay.
And when you go into the day trading game, forget what people out there saying. 92% of those people lose. You know what I mean?
Well, I
So that's
definitely
the way I
wouldn't
want.
be
Yeah,
doing that.
and that was don't get me wrong. You can go in there, you can make a lot of money at one time, but doing that consistently over and over and over, most of those people net losses over time.
Right.
So,
And that
because if
makes
that
sense.
was the case, you get overlost. They're like one day they make 1,000, next day they lose 2,000. That type of deal. So now
Hmm.
they're trying to like, man, I'm down $1,000. Let me go and revenge trade, and then lose even more. Then so I wouldn't recommend that to you until you became a little bit more seasoned.
Correct. Well,
For a
it makes
person
sense
that's
because you
Mhm.
have to be able to lose. I mean, you have to be able to lose and it not really affect you. So I get
Mhm.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
He
So
can
before,
afford to do that.
yeah, he can. He's doing hundreds of thousands of dollars. And think about it, right? He'll move $100,000 into Apple. Apple moves 1% in a day. 1% of
Mhm.
100,000, he just made $1,000. Then he sells it. He just walks away with $1,000. But if you're going in with $1,000, the stock moves 1%, you only made $10. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
Because the thing about it is, if I invest $100,000, you invest $1,000, the stock moves 10%, I make 10,000, you make $100. We both made the same investment. It was just that I put more money into it,
Right.
and most people don't have that type of money to put into it.
And I am one of those most people.
So they're going underfunded. So for this take for
Right.
prime example, you went in with $200. I went in with $2,000. Right? The stock
Mhm.
moves 5%. I made $500. If my math is
Mhm.
correct, right? I went in with
Mhm.
2,000, so I made $50. I made $50 where you made five. Well, it's not worth it for you to sell it because you're like, hey, because you got to pay trade fees, which are about $5 or $6. So I'm in and out of position with $50, and you're stuck into that same position.
Wow.
You know, that's why I don't. You know, so and we made the same investment. It's just that you had a whole lot less money.
Right. You
We
have to
both
be
got
a very high risk person
yes,
to do that.
and that's just speaking on the high side. You could go on the lower side. Like for prime example, next week, knowing the the tax reform is going on next week, I think it's going to get passed, right? And
I
as
do
that
too.
tax bill gets closer and closer to getting passed, it's going to send the market up, in my belief. So if I want to capitalize on that, I will go buy a call option, which I don't want to blow your mind with all that stuff like that. I'll go in and pay $300, $500, or $1,000 into a call option, and I can make $200, $300 that easy, right?
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
next week they boom go in. I know the market's going to go up. Boom, take my money out. But those are derivatives. That's something I'm not going to try to get a novice person into, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So, but for beginners, I will go in. I'm going to send you two links so you can start virtually trading on Monday,
Okay.
right? And it's just
Mhm.
fun. Then once you feel comfortable, you can say, "Man, you know what? I feel comfortable. I want to go do this." The whole point with me with investing, I'm not like, "Hey, I want to get rich," and I'm like, I have to do something with my money that it can grow.
Right.
Nowhere
Right.
in the world I could be on this earth for 33 years and do nothing for my son. I'm
Right.
throwing away. Your money come in and you're paying your car note, you're paying your mortgage or your rent or whatever you're doing, and all your money is just going to liabilities. At least put something to somewhere where it can potentially grow.
Right. Yep.
So that's the way I look at it. And by you doing that, for a prime example, the stuff you buy your kids today, the clothes, you know that stuff is a guaranteed loss.
It
You know they're
sure
not going to
is.
be able to. You know they're not going to be able to wear it, but you don't know what Microsoft may be in the future, right?
Right.
When they graduate, you never know. Well, imagine your kids graduate and be like, you know what? I was playing around at one time. I was on the internet. I found this guy on the investor show, and I just went out here and was playing, and I brought like 10 Microsoft stocks, and I'm going to give them to you as a graduation gift. I would have loved that happen to me. I mean, how cool is
Right.
that?
You too.
Your
Yes,
parents say,
that's
hey,
beautiful.
I got some Coca-Cola stocks for you. I got some AT&T, some Microsoft, some Amazon, some of this. I don't know what it's worth today, but these are things that I purchased over time because I was using Google. I was using Amazon every single day. I was buying all your stuff for Christmas on Amazon. You wanted to go to McDonald's all the time. You always wanted those EA Sports games. You always wanted those Xbox. You always wanted the PlayStation. So I brought you Sony and stuff like that. So this is what I'm going to do for you. So those are the
Mm.
ways that I look at it. That's the way I look at it to say, hey, you're doing something for your kids, and now you're opening their mind into the world of investing.
All right. And that's what I want. I want to be able to do
Exactly.
that, and I want them to have the knowledge so that they can do it too.
They can. Oh wow, because I wish someone had triggered my mind and even, told me, hey, you can start investing. You don't have to be the. When
Right.
I thought of stocks, I thought you had to be wealthy. You was investing. That person has a lot of money. They got extra money to just put in something. I don't. But the thing about it is, every day, just put something into your assets. Look at that 401k.
Mm.
Say, hey, what plans do you guys have? Okay, boom. These are the plans they have. These are the funds they have available. Now you can make a better option going with your 401k. Now with investing, it's not about like, hey, uh, I you know I want to make my kids multi millionaires. It's about at least I have something for my kids. Because there's only three ways you're going to invest. That's through a business, real estate, stocks. That's it. Every form of putting your money somewhere is going to fall in one of those three categories. And to start a business, it costs a nice piece of chunk of money in most cases,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
To get into real estate, it costs, you need some credit. You got to have some money down, stuff like that. Maybe you have to have some money down, but it costs a lot. But to go out here and get into the stock market, you can do it from your house and start on Monday. And we live in the richest we live in the richest country in the world. Stock market is at an all-time high, but your bank account looks the same. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So
yeah, it does.
So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to send you those two resources to help you get started. Is there anything that you want to ask me or anywhere else I can help you?
No, not today. But if I have questions, am I free to shoot you an email?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I appreciate it. I really do.
You got questions? Definitely let me know. For everybody else that's out there, y'all know my email address is askprince@royalfinancials.com, wherever you may hear this at. If you got more questions, I'm going to send you two links to get you started with virtual trading. So let's go over those baby steps. First, start a virtual trading account. Buy some stocks. Get your feet wet. Once you feel comfortable, get yourself a brokerage account with TD Ameritrade, Scottrade, E-Trade, whatever you want to do, right? Boom. Once you get out, at the end of the day, they're all the same. But once you get it, boom. Now you have to transfer money into that account. Once the money's transferred into it, boom. That's when you buy a stock. Before you buy a stock, first question, what is your risk level? Second question, how long do I want to do this for? Third question, how much money do I have? Because if you got $200, you're not going to be able to buy Google stock, right? So ask yourself those three questions. Once you know what you want to do, now you can categorize and say, hey, I realize that I'm high risk, long term, and I have $500. Now you can better categorize yourself and say, hey, well, these are considered high risk. Now you can use investment vehicles to figure out what you want to do in the market. So,
okay.
But yeah, I hope that helped. Anything else you want to ask them?
It did help, number one. And I don't think I have any questions now. Of course, it's always that way. You don't have questions until later.
So you get your foot in the water. So.
Right. So, yes, I do appreciate the help. And I hope my questions help someone else.
Okay. But yeah, definitely, guys. So, guys, we're going to do anything you want to leave out there for anybody that's listening, Miss Michelle?
Don't be like me and wait until you're 42 to jump in this. Do it soon.
Okay.
I think part of the reason that I didn't do it was because you don't want to feel like, okay, you are well educated, you know how to do other things really well. Why don't you know how to do this? You should know how to do this. Well, I don't. And if you're out there and you're in that same situation, don't wait until, don't wait years. Just go ahead and put yourself out there and figure it out, learn.
And that is true, because it doesn't matter what industry you go into in the future. No industry that you go into the future. When you go into the future, you're going to look at everybody, no matter if you're a doctor, a lawyer, or drive a trash truck, or entrepreneur, or whatever. Two things you always need: financial literacy and legal help. And the sad part about those two things is people don't seek those out until they are in a world of hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody thinks about a lawyer until they're in trouble. Nobody thinks about financial advice or anything like that until most time they are bankrupt. And I've had a couple of them on the show. Now you should say soon too. I want to say probably at the top of the year, I did a documentary of a two-time All-Pro running back named LaRon McClain. He was in the NFL for 8 years, made $16 million to bankrupt.
Wow.
So I did a complete documentary on him in Atlanta. So that's just to go show you. And if you haven't seen this episode, a guy by the name of Marquise Ogden came on. He explained to you how he went from millions to bankrupt. You know, and that's the thing you need to listen to, because some people say, if I just had more money, I'll be fine. And what they always say, I was rich, but I had a poor man's mindset.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
so that's the thing about it. So it was a four-part documentary I did on him in Atlanta. It'll probably come out at the top of next year. But those things I like the people to hear from and see. So, but he was listening to this show and he called in and we went and told his story. So,
Wow.
but most definitely, those are things to think about it, right? He was saying, "Hey, I wish I would have met you and found this show 4 years ago, 3 years ago, or whatnot, but I just didn't know. Nobody
Right.
told me." So, but we live in the information age. That excuse is getting thrown away now. So, look how
Mm-hmm.
fast you were able to look up Ford stock
Yep.
and Verizon stock. We all have, in my parents' era, that wouldn't have been possible. They'd had to subscribe to the Wall Street Journal. They'd had to
Right.
drive 2 hours to a stockbroker's house just to find what the price was 3 days ago.
And
You know what I
that's
mean?
actually where the point I was at. I was like, look, I've been wanting to do this for so long. I'm just gonna go and pay someone to do it for me. And then I just started looking online, and I'm like, there has to be someone online who knows how to do this. And then I just thought about YouTube. Let me check YouTube, and that's where I found you. I saw others, but yours it made a lot more sense because you broke it down.
Oh yeah, definitely. And do you have kids, Mr. Cheryl?
I do. Mm-hmm. I have 3 kids.
Okay, you got 3 kids. I'm gonna send once we get offline. I'm gonna send both of my books to. I got children's financial literacy book, one about investing, one about credit. I'm going to send both of those to you just for calling in today.
Oh, thank you. I surely appreciate it.
Definitely.
I love to read, so I'm excited.
Yeah, so I'm definitely sending both of those to you, and just something to put in the kids' minds. But I'm glad I'm glad you reached out. I do the podcast, I do YouTube and social media, I do television and things like that. So, and like I said, I've been doing this for like 4 years. On YouTube and the shows and stuff like that. So, I've been around. People discover me at different times. So,
yeah.
People discover you at different times. You're always a new guy and things like that. And I'm still a student of the game. I learn every single day. I read. You can go to on my YouTube channel. You can see where I do book reviews, where I read, financial literacy books, and I give my review on them. My honest review after reading the book and stuff like that. A lot of the authors, a lot of the shows, people you see on the show, they have written different books. A lot of these people are, very well off. A lot of them have written books, and those are people you can listen to, and books that you can grab from them, and things like that. So it's a wealth of knowledge. It's a wealth of different people that come onto the show. Right now today is no excuse.
Right.
So
it's not.
It used to be you had to go way down to the library and go to the bookstore, and then if the bookstore don't carry it, then you just don't. But now with Amazon and all these things that are out there, you can download, you can listen to. If you don't read that good, but you can hear, you can get audio books, right? So
right.
because even both of my books, they're paperback, they're hardcover, they're audio, they're everything. So the audio, even it's a cartoon. So so it's so it's a cartoon, it's audio, it's paperback, it's ebooks, hardcover. So any type of way they are. If you're in prison, you can't hear, but you can listen. So
right.
But yeah, because I wasn't a good reader until I started reading more and more and more. So, but audiobooks helped me out a great deal. But so there's a wealth of knowledge on the show. People can go back. You can go back and listen to different people that came on the show. I do book reviews. You can listen to different books if you're looking for reading material and content. Now you're getting someone who read the book, giving their honest opinion. I'm not sponsored by anybody. Nobody paid me to say this about my book or whatever the case may be. If I don't like the book, that's what I'm going to say in the review. That's what keeps on. Hey man, this thing is too long. I'm getting ready to do a review on Tony Robbins' Unshakable. That was the one I just read. I read 2 Tony Robbins books, and I leave that for the review. But it's some things that I don't like about it, and there's some things I do like about it. So,
well, an honest opinion is always good.
Oh yeah, that's what I like. I tell people
because it helps.
Tell me exactly.
It helps. It helps, especially when, I mean, there's so much, like you said, there's no reason for any of us to be, you know, to not know. But it's so much information out there. And that's where my issue was. It was just so much. Where do you start? And it's just a wealth of information out there. It's good to know that you can find someone who can help you just decide where to start. Start here.
Start right here, and that's why I did by giving you those baby steps. This is where you start today. This is where you go tomorrow. Because sometimes people, they'll tell you, "Hey guys, this is how to buy stock," but they don't tell you exactly how to do it. It's not practical.
Right.
They don't do
and
it.
then you have people like me. I'm willing to take a risk, but then you take a risk here, there, and everywhere. Then you've lost. You know, you're taking all of these risks because you want to do it and you want to be successful at it. But okay, it didn't work here. Let me try it here. Okay, it didn't work here. Let me try it here. When it's great when someone can say, "Here, start here," and just stick with it here. Go from here.
Exactly. And and then I went through those things. That's why people are like, "Oh, you broke it down," because that's what I was looking for. I was looking for somebody to help me, and there was nobody there. So that's why I created my own channel and I created my own lane and stuff like that. And here we are, going on 5 years later. So that was the thing. I'm glad I was able to help you on that. Like you said, is that you're right. There is a weapon out. One thing I want to put into you, Michelle, is that wherever you're at, look into events that are in your area. To me, that helped me out dramatically. Local events, but you got to kind of. It's some of them are full of crap. I'm not gonna lie. Some of them are just there to get you in the room so they can just sell you a bunch of stuff or whatnot, right? But some of them,
right.
Even if they are that way, the thing about it is that you get to go there and network with like-minded people. So you get in the room, you're like, man, I'm trying to figure out. And it's 10 other people just like you, and y'all kind of get together and you build a new network of people. Now you got a new network of people that's trying to figure it out. Or if you got your kids and you got the time and energy or whatnot, you find something in your area, I would advise people to go to it because those events, not only will you learn something from them, you also get to meet a lot of people, and build your circle around. Because I always tell people, if you want to know what your future is, if you want to know where you're going in the future, take a look around you.
Right. And that
you want to know
true.
where you're going to go in the future, take a look around you. If you're surrounded by a bunch of idiots and childhood friends that are not doing anything, that's where you're going to end up at. Because everybody has a gravitational pull on you, whether it's down or whether it's up. So if you're in a circle where you're the only person that's trying to learn how to better yourself, you need a new circle. One of the best places
right.
Go look at, if you're in a small town in the middle of nowhere, you might have to take a drive. But if you're in a city, if you're in a close city, find out, get on Eventbrite, like some things on Facebook, subscribe to some people, follow some things, because if you subscribe to my YouTube, if you follow me on Facebook, I only do one thing. If it's not about my family, it's something to do with investing or something like that, or maybe a thought that's on my mind. But by seeing that over and over and over and over and over and over, guess what? You're going to start thinking about that.
Right. That's
so
true.
that helps you. So, if you're in an area, like right now I'm in Denver, okay, boom, I figure out, oh, this is going on in Denver. I'm going to go, right? I go listen to Warren Buffett every single year, right? By going there, look how many people that I meet, affiliate with, I associate with, that now you're following them. They're on the same thing you're on. Now you got a new network.
Right.
Now everybody's trying to do something new. So I know that's what happens with a lot of people where they don't have the proper network, right? Then it's sometimes in some cases where you might have to make that investment to say, hey, some people may like, I want to go see a financial planner, or I feel more comfortable with an investment advisor and things like that. And that's nothing wrong with that either. That's a whole other industry, whole other topic. But I would say, when you start investing, if you're serious about it, you want to get your kids into it, bring your kids to things like that. You know what I mean? Financial literacy conferences, financial literacy expos. Like we just did one down in Georgia on the 3rd, right? It was an awesome event that was at Jones County High School. Bring your kids and stuff like that. It was free to the whole community, right? Every kid walked out of there with stuff in their hands, and you're striking their heads. You never know.
Yeah.
So, but And then, then you get the network. Oh, wow, I know this person knows it. And you're networking with people that are on the same thing that has an interest with you. Almost like going to church, sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But you networking, Not everybody that's there is not going to be good on the same page, but it at least puts you into stuff. If you find an event, if it's bad, don't go to that one again. Go to another one, things like that. So that's the way that I would say help you to get yourself into it and to get your kids into it. So, but sometimes kids love to touch stuff and stuff like that, making it physical.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I definitely help that. When we get off the line, I will get your mailing address and I have both copies of my book sent out to you for your kids.
All right. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
All right. Anything else, Ms. Michelle?
That is it.
That's all?
That's
all right, guys. This is the Investor Show. As always, this is your host, Prince Dykes. Until the next video, podcast, cartoon, or whatever you see me do crazy around the globe. Peace, be safe. I'm out, and thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Simple Investor Radio Show with author and investment advisor, Prince Dykes.